The valve preamp can be turned on or off. When it's turned off, the signal uses only the standard Midiplus preamp. But when it's turned on, the signal path is routed through the built-in valve preamp. Later, we'll also discuss how to route the OTG output, because it's a little different from the lower models. Models such as the S2 or for Pro OTG use a front mode button for routing. However, on the Midiplus Studio Valve OTG, it uses playback routing instead. So you need to understand how it works. And if you want to use the Midiplus Studio Valve OTG for live streaming, you'll definitely need a laptop and a door. Since the Midiplus Studio Valve OTG has up to 4 OTG outputs, we're only going to test one of them because the signal flow is exactly the same for all 4 outputs. Even though there are 4 OTG outputs, they all work the same way. You simply duplicate the routing and plug them in. Since you're using OTG, you'll need an additional cable. I'm using a USB-C to US via OTG adapter cable to connect it to an iPhone. Now I'll connect the OTG output directly to the iPhone.
OTG-nya ini aku langsung sambung dulu aja ke iPhone. Nah,
okay, it's connected. I'm taking OTG output 1 from the Midiplus Studio Valve OTG and connecting it to the iPhone. Next, we'll open a door. You can use any door you like, but I personally prefer Reaper. If you want to send music from the DAW to the OTG output, you simply add output 3/4 to the routing. Output 3/4 is the important out here.
3/4. Nah, output 3/4 itu dia adalah output OTG.
As you can see, there are analog outputs 1/2, virtual outputs 3/4, analog out 3/4 partes, and virtual outputs 5/6. This means the Studio Valve OTG includes a kind of loopback function or virtual cable routing. And it turns out that analog outputs 3/4 are the OTG outputs. That's why this model doesn't use a front mode button, because the routing is handled differently. The workflow is like this. Inside your DAW, you simply duplicate the output routing and send it to output 3/4. You can do the same thing in Cubase. Just add output 3/4 as an additional output destination. And if all of your music is coming directly from the DAW, then everything is already connected and routed correctly. As for the OTG output feature, it relies on playback output 3/4. Because of that, you'll need a laptop and a door to route the signal properly. The playback 3/4 output is what handles the live streaming signal, or OTG output sent to your phone. The workflow for using the OTG feature is a bit more involved and requires a few extra routing steps. However, once you've set it up and understand how it works, it becomes very easy to use. At that point, the extremely powerful audio interface for both studio recording and live streaming applications when using the Midiplus Studio Valve OTG.